Wrestling is about the big moments, about the announcements, and expecting the unexpected. And in 2016, we got almost too much of that. So that's what we're going to be talking about, the headline of the year. So some of these things can be related to a storyline. It can be related to a lawsuit happening in the world of wrestling. Yes, we do need to make a note here. These awards are about the WWE, but we do have Billy Corgan suing TNA in this list, but it's because of all the things that were happening about WWE possibly purchasing the tape library, maybe interested in hiring talent. And when you have guys like AJ Styles and Bobby Roode in WWE in 2016, you got to add something like that. So without further ado, Ryan, bring us the list.
Yeah, so before I read the list, I kind of want to emphasize that these are about really just very newsworthy things, shocking headlines or headlines that were just a big deal. So headline of the year, here are our nominees. Goldberg returns. Sting officially retires. WWE announces a brand split. Billy Corgan sues TNA. Kevin Owens becomes Universal Champion. AJ Styles debuts in WWE. Roman Reigns gets suspended. And Daniel Bryan officially retires.
You forgot Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC 200.
Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC 200. There you go.
So should we start with Roman Reigns?
I think it absolutely needs to be on this list.
Yeah, because that's something that Roman Reigns already by the fans was starting to get hated upon, all the crowd turning on him. Then he gets suspended. So then that didn't do him any favors. Then you get to see that the product was changing a little bit to accommodate that situation. WWE wasn't openly addressing it at first, but then you saw certain things, and then fans saw that he was already scheduled to appear, for a specific show after being suspended. And then the whole thing was, regardless of what he was suspended by, it was weird, right? How, yeah, you're suspended, but you're going to be right back to this exact same thing the moment you return. Is that a top 3, though?
I think absolutely.
I think so.
That suspension, even though Roman Reigns is starting to take those steps to going back to exactly where he was before, it changed the WWE at the core, because up until that point, basically between that point and WrestleMania, Roman Reigns was invincible. And they were building him up to be on the same level as John Cena eventually. And then it just took a hard right after that suspension, where he was losing to people like Seth Rollins, Finn Balor. If he didn't lose, or if he didn't get suspended, I would probably say that it's not very crazy to think that he would be the first Universal Champion.
But yeah.
Because that happened, all of a sudden, he wasn't even in the match. It affected the WWE, at the deepest, level, and I think it's absolutely one of the top headlines of the year.
Yeah, it's got to be up there. It kind of fits. We're kind of looking at a few things in the criteria. We're looking at things like shock factor and impact on the business, and this kind of had both of them. This totally came out of nowhere. Nobody saw this coming. Everyone was kind of expecting Roman Reigns to be following that same line that John Cena has followed, where, he can do no wrong. And, WWE also kind of showed its integrity that, hey, even a big star like Roman Reigns, if he fails the test, we're going to punish him for it just like we punish anybody else. And this did significantly affect WWE. Roman Reigns seems to be kind of, bouncing back recently from this, but he was losing a lot of matches he probably otherwise would not have lost, went down to the US title scene. It definitely changed the direction of the company this year.
Okay, so that sticks around. From this list, just recapping really quickly, Goldberg returning, Sting retiring, the brand split, Billy Corgan suing, Kevin Owens becoming the champion, AJ Styles making his debut, Roman Reigns getting suspended, Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC, and Daniel Bryan retiring. Can each of you bring me 2 possibilities to remove from this?
I would say we could get rid of Sting officially retiring, because it's almost like the opposite of the Roman Reigns situation, where you can kind of see it coming a mile away, where, yeah, it sucks that Sting retired, but he got hurt in his last match with Seth Rollins, and the Hall of Fame induction ceremony is kind of the best place for that to happen. So it made sense to see it happen then and him officially announce it being retired. So I don't think it was, and honestly, I don't think it was this big impactful thing, because Sting's WWE run minus the first night wasn't really all that impactful. It was that it happened and it was there, but okay, cool, I guess. So I would say cut that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Sting, we already expected that he was going to retire. It sucks that he didn't get a better send-off. He was kind of forced into it. It didn't really have a huge impact at that point because it was already expected. It's the same reason that I'd also cut Daniel Bryan officially retiring. That was really, as far as Daniel Bryan retiring, it was a matter of when, not if. We were just waiting for it to happen, essentially.
Everybody expected it, yeah.
Yeah. We had already, for months, we had already written Daniel Bryan out of, future storylines. We weren't expecting him to be coming back. So it really didn't change anything for WWE this year.
I agree.
So we have two different ones that are now gone. The one I'll propose is Kevin Owens becoming Universal Champion, because even though he's been an entertaining main focus of the show, I still think that he doesn't feel like the champion. I feel like him and Jericho are like the pen and the pineapple, and then you put them together and you get Jericho.
I need to
pen.
stop you right there. So the reason why I think that this doesn't belong is that it was less about the fact it happened and more about how it happened, with that whole Triple H interfering, potentially leading up to great storylines with Seth Rollins. That never happened. So it kind of defused or deflated the entire Kevin Owens title win for me.
The magnitude dropped because the whole point was, Kevin Owens and Triple H, but December,
Nothing.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
Where is
it's been
it?
months.
Where's Kevin Owens and Triple H, guys?
Yeah, a lot of these look a little bit more bigger picture. Sure, it was cool that Kevin Owens became Universal Champion. The title still hasn't really been significantly established quite yet. Like Juan said, he doesn't feel like the top dog necessarily quite yet. So I'd be willing to cut that as well. One thing I think can't possibly be cut, though, is the WWE brand split. We were all a little worried about the brand split and how it was going to go at the beginning, especially because it was going to mean, let's not sugarcoat it all. It was going to mean more work for us. Also, We had to make changes to our podcast.
Available
but the brand split has changed WWE in a major way. So much so, SmackDown has become a live and relevant show where opportunities that otherwise wouldn't have happened. So much has happened from this. I mean, Alexa Bliss is women's champion now, which would have never happened with one roster. AJ Styles is champion. Dean Ambrose is in a solid main event picture. Just tons of opportunities. American Alpha getting opportunities. There's just so much has happened because of this brand split. It's affected everything in WWE.
So let me ask, is our list then Roman Reigns being suspended, the brand split, and Billy Corgan suing TNA? Like, are we ready to cut Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC 200? Because to me, that seems batshit insane. Goldberg and AJ Styles.
So you were proposing we cut Billy Corgan?
No. See that?
I would actually propose to cut Billy Corgan suing TNA. Now, it was a huge news story for a while.
I don't know.
The reason I probably wouldn't cut it the reason I probably would cut it is because there were so many things that could have happened that would have shaken the wrestling industry up in a major way, and none of those things happened.
Yeah.
Basically, the worst case scenario happened where Corgan is gone and Dixie Carter still runs TNA. So
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
If
'cause the
WWE had
new
purchased
owners-
TNA, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. It might mean bad things for a lot of TNA employees, but that's still a major shakeup. If Corrigan wins and he's running things and he sells the TNA name, which was rumored, all this stuff.
Although just to
But
clarify,
instead,
though, just
we
to clarify
got the
quickly,
least impactful result.
the Dixie Carter, she's not the primary owner though. Like she's like the minority
Yeah,
owner at this point. But
it's like
what
Anthem
matters,
or something.
Yeah, but what matters, and I get your point that this Billy Corgan suing was significant if it concluded in, okay, he's now the president, he's now the owner, he's doing all these things. But right now, as of this recording, nothing's changed. There has been no shift in the TNA product. Yeah, we got Matt Hardy, where we got all that, but as a company, nothing ultimately changed. So that's why I think it should get cut.
Yeah, okay. I can get on board for that.
So we're
Probably
moving that.
one of the best storylines of the year, though.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
entertaining as hell, and I didn't even to watch a single video. TeknoAXE was
fair.
pretty awesome here. So right now we have Goldberg returns. What else you got, Keith?
No, I was going to say, I think the third headline has to be Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC 200.
Why? I'm curious to hear your argument.
Because for years and years, it's always been like WWE versus UFC. They always lived like basically beside each other and never really interacted. The fans always just hated the other fans, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're working together. It's two companies and people that like basically hated each other. Brock Lesnar became like a connecting gap between the two of them, and to the point where the WWE video game and SummerSlam were being promoted during that fight. I think that's a huge thing.
Good point.
It's less about the fight and more about what it meant that these two companies, because there are hundreds of examples of other people, like let's say Conor McGregor talking shit about the entire wrestling roster, right? There's always been this thing of like WWE versus UFC, and all of a sudden Brock Lesnar comes along, and if there was one person to make that jump, it was Brock Lesnar, even beyond the fact that he made it before, but just simply the fact of he is a man that you believe could step into the octagon and kill somebody, and he won. And it was really one of the, as far as decisions go, all of that drug testing stuff aside, Brock Lesnar won, and it was just a great situation that way.
I'm still not sold on it being on the top three because while you bring up the significance of a potential continuation of a relationship between WWE and UFC, I feel like it hasn't really been felt yet. And almost something like this could maybe be the headline of 2017. I mean, there's rumors that Conor McGregor could appear, in WWE at some point, and Ronda Rousey as well. So, like, if those things start actually panning out, then I can see that, oh man, we can look back at this.
Well, then let me ask you, what would you cut it for?
I mean, AJ Styles debuting in WWE, I think, is a huge thing. I mean, AJ Styles, this guy, we've had a billion dream matches of this, what he would do in WWE. And not only does he have a surprise debut, but he goes on to have this insane run. I'd also make an argument for Goldberg. I mean, Goldberg's the guy who it's been over 10 years since this guy has done anything with WWE. A lot of people thought he'd never return. The magic of video games and 2K just like bringing somebody back
that
every
fantasy
year.
warfare became a reality?
Yes, I am telling you
God.
that. I mean, even a headline, even just like you could put a little like cliff note next to Goldberg's return. Him beating Lesnar is also a pretty freaking huge headline for, getting a pinfall over Lesnar, which he hasn't been pinned since WrestleMania 30.
No, I would get rid of Goldberg returning because he's already been in WWE before, and he's already beaten Brock Lesnar. Now, yeah, he decimated Brock Lesnar. We're very clear about that. But when you compare that to AJ Styles, he felt like unless you created him in a WWE game, you were never going to get him in a WWE ring. Yet look now, right? Awesome matches. One of the main players on the after the brand split on SmackDown Live. It's unreal stuff, dare I say, surreal stuff. But then with Goldberg, once again, been there, done that. He's already been in WWE before. So I would cut Goldberg. In my 3, no order yet, would have to be AJ Styles making his debut. I will agree with Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC for the top 3 because WWE this year has included cruiserweights, independent wrestlers. Look at the roster in both NXT and WWE, right? Most of these people would never be there. And Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC is showing that WWE is opening their mind. This is like step 1 in part of a whatever, like a 10-year plan or something. So I will put those 2. And between Reigns and the brand split, now that's tough for me. Because I get that you guys are very sold on that. But I think that what happened. But the brand splits, it lives on in a way that the Reigns suspension, people were already booing him before and after. So that didn't change things that much in that regard because he's back to where he was before.
So earlier in this discussion, we mentioned impact of headline. How much of an impact did this headline have? Did it make you go oh my God, this is actually happening? And I think the ones that really hit that the most are Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC 200, Roman Reigns suspended, and the brand split. With AJ Styles and Bill Goldberg as well, even though I believe we're already cutting it, it had a lot of lead-up time to it. The impact of the headline, I don't think, was as significant as these other 3, because with Goldberg, you had the video game teases, and you could kind of you could see the breadcrumb trail that's already gone down that road, like with Sting. And with AJ Styles, there was a lot of teases from himself and the Bullet Club and the whole indie scene about, oh, I guess this is happening, AJ Styles, it's only a matter of time. And I think that really dampened the impact of it itself. It was a great moment, don't get me wrong, but I just think that the other 3 on this list, that being Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC 200, the brand split, and Roman Reigns being suspended, just made you go oh my God, way more.
All right, if we're going by actual impact of headline itself, which I believe is fair, my order is, and this is in exact order, for number 3, I will do Lesnar fights at UFC.
I can agree with that.
At number 2, I will go Roman Reigns suspended, and then number 1, I will do the brand split.
Yep, I can get behind that.
Okay, I'm giving one pass through. I still think AJ Styles should be here, but I'm seeing that is unfortunately a battle I will not win. But he totally
I want to
be
fighting
here.
there with you, but just looking at the announcement, and really AJ's impact was kind of felt a little bit later after the debut, I think.
Because it was a really cool moment, don't get me wrong, but there was never a big headline like AJ Styles signs with WWE or anything like that. It just kind of happened.
I still don't agree with you guys, but I agree with everything else. So just to confirm, we're going with Ryan's order here? With the one
I'm
he
good
just
with
said?
Ryan's order. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So, without further ado, folks, we did it. This is a tough one, much like the pay-per-view one. For Byte That's 2016 headline of the year regarding WWE, we have at number 4, because I got to bring up my number 4.
Hey,
AJ Styles making his WWE
cheating.
debut. Fine,
Nope.
fine.
No.
Number 3, Brock Lesnar fighting at UFC. Number 2, Roman Reigns' suspension. And number 1, WWE announcing the 2016 brand split. That has been it for headline of the year. I have a question for you. Did you agree with our headline of the year? Whether you did or not, definitely drop a comment and let us know. And enjoy the next award, which is Surprise of the Year.